Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to share a new shawl with you. It's called Joyful because I had so much fun knitting this. It's a one skein shawl, one skein of sock yarn. I knitted it on a recent trip to Norway and it was really quick and easy and fun knit and I really enjoyed it. So I decided to call it Joyful because it brought me a lot of joy when I was knitting it. It has these elongated cross stitches, which I have a tutorial for, which I will link at the end and below this video, and it has a very interesting bead detail on the edging where I put on 3 beads on one stitch, and I'm going to share a tutorial about that at the end of this video. So I'm going to put this on just to show you what it looks like on. Now obviously I am quite tall, so it looks smaller for me, but it's a perfect little scarf to wear just to cover your neck. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns, I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about this shawl, talk about the yarn it's knitted in, and then I'm going to share a tutorial for the edging. So I got this yarn recently. It's one of the yarns that I stock in my online shop, and when I got this colorway I really loved it. So it's a creamy colorway with just speckles and splashes of lots of different colors, and I thought that just looked like so much fun. And when I was going to Norway a few weeks later and I wanted just a one skein small thing to take with me because I wasn't sure how much knitting I was going to be able to do, I decided to take this with me, and I really enjoyed knitting it. And it didn't take me very long to knit it. I think I knitted it in a week, maybe a little bit less than a week, and it was really good fun. So that's why I've decided to call it Joyful. It is, like I said, knitted out of one skein of sock yarn. So I used Monosol Uruguay Alegria, which is a superwash merino polyamide blend, 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide. It has 405 meters per 100 grams, but you can use a yarn that has 400 meters. I always allow a bit of safety margin, so there's a little bit to go on there if you use a yarn that has slightly few meters. So yarn which has 400 meters is absolutely fine. And then I use 1 bag of Debbie Abraham's size 6 seed beads. The pattern will tell you exactly how many beads you need because I can't remember off the top of my head. You can also use other yarns. So this is also Monos Uruguay Fino, which is a slightly more luxurious blend. It is 70% merino wool and 30% silk. That is also available from my online shop in a variety of colour, as is this. I have a choice of different colours. But if you fancied something a little bit cheaper and more self-striping, you can also use something like Sabbable. So this is Sabbable 100 and it is a self-striping colorway, and this is Sabbable cotton, which is the same yarn basically, but it's 100% cotton. So depending on what you want to use, if you have one skein of sock yarn or 4-ply yarn that has about 400 meters per 100 gram, this is the perfect shawl for that. So before I show you the tutorial for how to do the edging, let me just quickly talk about the construction of this shawl. It is an asymmetrical crescent, I think I call it peaked crescent shawl. It's kind of a cross between a crescent and a triangle. So you start up here with just a few stitches, and then you're increasing at the start of every right side row, and then every so many rows you decrease or you cast off some stitches to get this sawtooth edging. And then every so often you add this row of cross stitches, which also has little beads in it. And in between there's just lots of garter stitch, which is quite nice and relaxing to knit. And then you get to the end of the shawl and you cast off down here. So it's a really fun shawl to knit. I have lots of shawls in this kind of shape, including a few small ones. Dakota and Exmoor, I'll link them below. And I think they're really good fun shawls to knit and really easy to wear as a little scarf just around your neck. You can wear them around your shoulders as well. So now I'm going to share with you a tutorial for how to do the bead detail on the edging of this shawl. If you're interested in buying the yarn and the beads, I will link my website below. I will also link the Ravelry and Payhip pattern pages for this pattern below this video. Here is the tutorial. Let's have a look at the edging of this shawl. It has a quite interesting bead detail, which is something I've never done a bead detail quite like this before. When I was doing the edging on this shawl, I just wanted to do something slightly different. So I did this quite interesting bead detail where you add 3 beads in one go. In this video I'm going to show you how to add these 3 beads and how that is done in the context of the edging. So this stitch pattern here is a stitch pattern that repeats throughout the shawl. It is an elongated cross stitch pattern and it has 1 single stitch in between, so it is 2 stitches over 2 stitches, and then it has a beaded stitch in between, and that is repeats throughout the shawl. And I do have a video on my YouTube channel where I show you how to do that kind of cross stitch detail. So I'm not going to show you how to do that, and that is kind of part of the edging because I did that a couple of rows before the edging, but I'm going to show you how to do this little bead detail here. So I'm now going to show you just how to do the edging, so not this stitch pattern, cross stitch pattern, but just the cast off row. Casting off is in a Russian cast off, which is a very stretchy cast off. You can use other stretchy cast offs if you prefer. Just make sure that it works with the bead detail on this pattern. So to cast off Russian cast off, I'm knitting 2 stitches. When I have 2 stitches on my right needle, I put the left needle into the front of those 2 stitches and I knit them together through the back of the loop. Knit 1. Now you can do this 1 or 2 ways. You can either put those 2 stitches back on the left hand needle and then knit them together through the back loop. Knit 1. Or if you put your left needle into the front of those 2 stitches, that is the same as putting them back on your left hand needle and knitting them together through the back loop. So knit 1, put your left needle into the front of the stitch and knit them together through the back loop. You will then have 1 stitch on your right needle. Now you want to put this stitch back onto the left hand needle, and then we're going to pick up our beads. So you want to have 3 beads on your knitting needle. I put all 3 on at the same time. I think for this stitch pattern that is easier. So you can let go of your right hand needle because you're not going to use that for this, and it's a bit awkward to try and hold on to it, and because you don't have any stitches on it, you can just put that down. Then you're going to take this stitch off purlwise, let it slip into the hook of your crochet hook. So make sure the hook of your crochet hook is pointing upwards. If you can't see it, you can feel it with your finger. Grab those 3 beads. Now, if you look at the way I'm holding my crochet hook, I've got my hand on top rather than underneath like that, because when you have your hand on top, you have a lot more control. And I wedge it in between my little finger and ring finger, because that means I can take these fingers off and I still hold the hook securely. So I want to take all those 3 beads in one go and push them down onto the stitch. Sometimes you find that your stitch splits slightly. If that happens, just take the beads off and try again. Push them right the way back down so that you can easily put the stitch on your left hand needle. Then pick up your knitting needle again. Now you're going to pass that stitch back to the right hand needle because you've already knitted it, so you don't want to knit it again. So the stitch is now on the right hand needle. And then you're going to do a Russian cast off for 5 stitches. So knit 1, put your needle into the front of those 2 stitches and knit them together. Knit 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So you now have 1 stitch here. Put that back on the left hand needle, pick up another 3 stitches and put them on your crochet hook. put the right needle down because you're not using that. Your stitch is on the left needle and these stitches are cast off. So we're now going to take the stitch off with the crochet hook. Now I put my finger on top of those 3 beads so they don't slide off. So take the stitch off with the crochet hook, let it slide into the hook, grab those 2 beads and push them all down on the stitch, put the stitch back on the left hand needle, put your hook down, pick up your knitting needle, and then you put that stitch back onto the right needle, and then you're going to cast off 5. That is what it looks like when you've finished it, and this edging is very, very stretchy, which will make it easier to block your shawl. If you have any questions, please ask below this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in the yarn or the beads or the patterns, I will link all that below. The pattern is available from Ravelry and Payhip, and the yarn is available on my website. And so are the beads and also the crochet hooks. So I'll link all that below. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I will see you next time.